Hey folks, how's it going? And welcome back to another Trepidation video, where this time around, I've got some new drip. Just kidding, that's not what this video is all about. This time around, I've played as the new Annihilator rework that dropped as an update recently. This slasher has become an actual beast. If he wasn't a killing machine before, he surely is now. That being said though, I will be covering what Annihilator's rework is all about, and I'll also share a solid game I had to show you what destruction he is capable of causing now. So without much further ado, let's jump straight into what's changed. First things first, Annihilator has a new and unique chase theme that was made by a community member on the Trepidation Discord server. I wanted to take this portion of the video to give a shout out to your man for creating this banger chase theme. If you hadn't heard it yet, here is a brief snippet of it. Pretty cool, am I right? Moving on to the reworked abilities now, though. With the passive Send to Kill, you can choose a transport location to teleport to by looking at it and using right click on your mouse. Survivors near that location you teleported to take moderate to heavy damage. Send to Kill makes use of something called stacks, and the amount of stacks you have determines how many times you can use this passive. You use a stack when you teleport to a transport location and gain a stack back when downing or killing a survivor. This is what a transport location looks like, by the way, and this is how it is highlighted to you, and you will know when you are successfully looking at a transport location when the following icon pops up on your screen. Now additionally, with Send to Kill, during preparation you can spectate your transport locations to see what survivors are doing. You can press Q and E or use the arrows on the screen to navigate through all your locations, and after preparation ends you can press spacebar or use the deploy button on the screen to deploy into the map for the very first time. Deploying for the very first time will also be followed up by a cool cutscene, which is a reference to Nemesis from Resident Evil. Moving on to Barrage. Barrage lets you aim and fire up to 10 rockets towards survivors. Rockets deal 10 damage on collision to survivors through splash damage, but directly hitting a survivor turns that 10 damage into 20 instead. Rockets can also damage objectives and leave behind fire, dealing a blaze to survivors running through it for 5 seconds. And to use Barrage, you must press the ability button first to prime it, and then you can use left click on your mouse to aim a laser and then launch a rocket toward your target. And the most important bit here, you passively gain a rocket back every 10 seconds. With Flamethrower, you can inflict survivors directly in front of you with low damage, a blaze, and a 5% shackled for 5 seconds. Flamethrower makes use of something called fuel, and the amount you have determines how long you can use this ability for. You use up fuel by using Flamethrower and can get it back over time or by objectives being damaged and completed. You can see how much fuel you have by looking at the small bar above the ability icon. And to use Flamethrower, press the ability button once to prime it, and then hold left click on your mouse to send flames toward a survivor. One thing to note is that Flamethrower can't down survivors, however, so you must deal the last bit of damage yourselves to the target you're aiming for. And last but not least, we've got the Minigun, which rapidly fires bullets at survivors, with each bullet dealing low damage. It takes about 1.5 seconds to charge the minigun up, and once you use it, it starts overheating the longer you make use of it. You can kind of decide with the minigun how long you want your cooldown to be by either using it for a short while or a longer while. Just know that you have to eventually let it cool off again over time, and you can check in the small bar above the ability icon how heated up the minigun currently is. And so the premise kind of is, the longer you let the minigun cool off, the longer you're able to use use it next time. And to use the minigun, press the ability button to prime it and then hold left click on your mouse to send those bullets flying. And that is all there is to Annihilator's rework. If you want to learn more about this slasher or want to get more into the specifics, I will be linking down Annihilator's wiki page in the description down below. With that being said though, allow me to show you a rather good game I had to show Annihilator off in its full glory. It is a silent game because I did record this one late at night, but it is still a really thrilling game regardless, so I hope you enjoyed this match. And that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this Annihilator video, then make sure to let me know by hitting that like button down below. And if you are new around these parts and want more trepidation content just like this video, then make sure to hit that subscribe button whilst you're at it. Thank you so much for watching, folks, and I shall see you in my next video. Take care.